A beautiful night in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the world's largest hotel casino plays host to a fight for the championship of the 140-pound weight class. Ricky Hatton, the hitman from England, trying to prove that he can stay at the level of raw aggression and non-stop action where he has fought most of his career, en route to an amazing record of 44 wins and 1 loss. Paulie Malignaggi, likewise, a loser only one time. That was to the brilliant Miguel Cotto, back when Cotto was fighting in this weight class at 140 pounds. Malignaggi, in the ultimate boxer versus brawler sort of matchup, hopes to skin Hatton with his greater speed and skill tonight. Once again, we come back live to ringside, where I'm joined by HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, it's the first time that Paulie Malignaggi has appeared on HBO's World Championship Boxing. What does he bring to the party?
He's a pure boxer, and he's a wannabe showman, which inspired him or led him astray to wear hair extensions in his last fight. And that required a haircut between rounds, embarrassingly. Hair extensions. An extension really of a free spirit who wants to be recognized. Think of him as John Travolta in the movie Saturday Night Fever, a kid from Brooklyn who danced his way into the big time. Malignaggi is a kid from Brooklyn who is trying to fight his way into the big time. That said, his opponent tonight also has a musical. It's called There's Only One Ricky Hatton, with a cast of thousands who have been singing it since early this morning and will continue on into the night.
Yeah, and once you've heard Hatton's fans sing their song about 1,000 times, which could have happened incidentally at yesterday's weigh-in, you've heard enough. But one area in which Hatton has changed his tune, Lennox Lewis, is that of the trainer, where he fired the man who had trained him throughout his amateur and professional career, Billy Graham, and now has hooked up with the father of the only man to beat him, Floyd Mayweather Sr. An interesting match because Hatton, of course, is a face-first brawler, always has been, and Floyd Mayweather is known as a trainer to finesse boxers. How will this marriage work?
Well, some marriages work and some marriages don't work, but opposites definitely attract in this case, because Ricky Hatton is known for his offense, and to get a defensive trainer that teaches him not to get hit as much and may teach him some tricks of the trade, plus help him throw his jab and things that he didn't know. Ricky Hatton said he was very excited about camp, going to camp every day and learning new things. So we want to see if some of that camp rubs off today in the fight and see if he can apply some of the things that he's learned.
And indeed, one of the questions on the minds of ring experts, has Floyd Mayweather learned rapidly enough the difficult tricks involved in training Ricky Hatton to a well-conditioned level, because Hatton is known to have spectacularly bad habits outside the ring between fights, and acknowledges that once again in preparation for this meeting he had to trim more than 42 pounds to get down to yesterday's weigh-in limit of 140 pounds. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. And incidentally, Paulie Malignaggi, listed here at age 27, actually turns 28 tomorrow. So it's really about a 2-year age advantage for Malignaggi, 1-inch height advantage for the Brooklyn fighter, arm length advantage of 3 inches, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. That could be significant because Malignaggi wants to use his quicker jab to keep Hatton away. They both weighed in at or under the 140-pound weight limit yesterday. Ricky Hatton rehydrating all the way up to 152 overnight according to our unofficial scale, and Malignaggi at 149. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Ricky Hatton Paulie Malignaggi fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round.
Coming to the ring at this time, the challenger, Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi.
Now tuned into the motherfucking greatest.
Brooklyn in here tonight!
Brooklyn!
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit.
Both fighters have held governing body title belts for this weight class in the past. Neither bothers to bring one into the ring tonight. In Malignaggi's case, the governing body for whom he was the title holder wanted him to fight another mandatory title defense against Herman Ngoju, a fighter whom he beat earlier this year. Malignaggi said, why in the world would they want me to fight the same guy twice in 1 year, and dumped the belt to go for the fight he wanted against Hatton.
And because he will get over $1 million himself in this fight. How many fighters really, out of all of them out there, ever get to the level of a 7-figure payday? You cannot pass that up. And this is the fight that we all wanted to see anyway.
Absolutely, this is the fight that the division cried out for.
When he takes off that hood, Jim, we'll see that he's gone from hair extensions down to a buzz cut. You know, he's gone from being a diva, you know, to being an athlete, to being a guy who wears burlap instead of silk.
Lennox, it's Paulie Malignaggi's first appearance in a big showcase fight in Las Vegas. Obviously, Hatton far and away the more veteran fighter in terms of this kind of spotlight event. How big a factor do you rank that for fighters coming in?
I think it's a big factor. All great fighters want to box in a great arena, and this is, you know, a mecca of boxing, Las Vegas. So, you know, I'm sure Paulie wants to fight here, and is glad that he has this opportunity. Now he has to see if he can make the best of it.
And now making his entrance to the ring, the Man City Hitman, Ricky Hatton.
Wearing a blown-up suit, which makes fun of his image as Ricky Batten, a reference to the tendency to balloon up in weight between fights.
Jim, when we saw him yesterday at our fighting meeting just before the weigh-in, his face looked like a skull with tightly wrapped skin. He had lost so much weight, and it is felt within the boxing world that it's a matter of time until these weight issues get to him. The question tonight, can Paulie Malignaggi be the one who exposes it? Not many fighters can poke fun at themselves the way Ricky Hatton is right here.
Blue Moon, the theme song of the Manchester City Soccer Club, for whom Hatton's father once performed his traditional entry song.
And they beat Arsenal today, Jim, 3-0.
That's a big win.
And let me tell you, Ricky Hatton has a great sense of humor too. He's always jovial and making jokes and said some uncanny things.
Quite like this show anywhere else in the world. He is an extremely rare phenomenon.
Let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with Hatton Promotions and DeBella Entertainment, are proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBO and Ring Magazine Light Welterweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Affliction and Tecate Cerveza con Character. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Bill Brady, Executive Director Keith Kaiser, IBO President Ed Levine. At ringside, the 3 judges scoring this bout, should it go the distance, are Dwayne Ford, Jerry Roth, and Glenn Trowbridge. And inside the ring, the man in charge of the action at the bell, referee Kenny Bayless. And now, for the thousands in attendance, and courtesy of HBO Sports, the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue with white, officially weighing 139 pounds. His professional record stands at 26 fights, 25 victories, including 5 knockouts, with only 1 defeat and a world title. From Brooklyn, New York, the former junior welterweight champion of the world, Paulie, Magic Man Malignaggi. Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black with silver and blue. Official weight, 140 pounds. Professional record, 45 fights, 44 victories, including 31 knockouts, only 1 defeat, with 3 world titles. The former junior welterweight and welterweight world champion, the fighting pride of Manchester, England, the reigning, defending IBO Ring Magazine light welterweight champion of the world, Ricky Hitman Hatton.
Okay, trunks are a little high here. Punches that land in this area will be considered a clean punch. Now, gentlemen, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep the fight clean, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch up.
If Ricky Hatton boxes as well as brawls, does that mean there are 2 Ricky Hattons? And can Paulie Malignaggi deal with both of them?
Tell you what, Malignaggi looks in good shape right now.
They appeared together before 55,000 in Manchester, England on May 24 this year. Hatton beating Juan Lascano over the distance, getting rocked a couple of times and admitting afterward, that wasn't my best. Malignaggi getting the 2nd win of his career over Lovemore and Dew, but as Larry pointed out, producing the dreadful faux pas of the hair extensions, getting his hair cut in the ring, and also getting trimmed several rounds by Ndu. And afterward he said, that wasn't me at my best. Both are hoping to elevate their games significantly tonight, 6 months later.
What Hatton is trying to do is box his way inside, instead of just lunging inside as he has often done.
And what he's doing, obviously he's been working on the jab, but he feels that he needs to get a lot closer before he throws his jab, and not necessarily the case in all cases. You can actually start your jab from way out, and as you get closer, be more accurate with it.
And already you can see the dynamic. Hatton is going to come in. Malignaggi wants to catch him on the way in. The question is, what does he catch him with? Malignaggi has no power, as is evidenced by his record with only 5 knockouts among his 25 wins. And a lot of that is because of his often damaged right hand.
And 3 of those 5 knockouts, Jim, were in his first 3 fights.
Exactly. His right hand has been operated 4 separate times in his career, and including immediately after the Lovemore and Dew fight in May. He says he knows it's fine. But if he breaks his right hand in the fight, that is to be expected. And it's something he has fought with several times before. But there's the jab, which is his primary weapon. And if he can get it going and land the right hand behind it, he is regarded as an extremely live underdog against Ricky Hatton. Already you can see why.
2-1 underdog.
Malignaggi throws a terrific left jab. I love the way it comes out. Nice and sharp, nice and crisp, very accurate. Throws it very well. You know, that and his right hand in combination are a thing of beauty.
Stop, man. Watch your heads, fellas. Watch the heads.
Hatton simply can't afford to allow Malignaggi to develop a rhythm with his jab and his right hand. And in the latter part of the first round, Paulie is getting it.
A good round for Malignaggi.
You gotta not up on your head now. Move your head now and use your face. Okay? I told you everything is timing. Keep your hand up here, man. Pick his jab. Pick his jab. Pick his right hand. Hook over the top. He ain't got no right hand.
I'm just trying to come over top of the jab with the right hand. Okay? Very good, champ. Very good, baby. Beautiful. The feints are working good. The feints are working good. Keep the feints going and give me double jabs. But keep that head moving. That head movement's throwing them off. Okay? He's the same old Ricky Hatton. Ain't nothing changed, baby. All right? Very good, baby. Right. Keep it tight inside.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Malignaggi 11 out of 43, Hatton 7 out of 43. Not much to choose between the two of them. Down the stretch of the round, it appeared to be Malignaggi who was the more comfortable fighter with the way things were going in the ring.
You see, Ricky, I hope, doesn't fall into the same track as what he usually falls into, and that's coming in straight on where your opponent knows where you're going to be and leaving yourself wide open. So he needs to come in with his hands up, looking to pick that jab and not get hit.
Diving in behind the right hand there.
Which is a big mistake. You know, you definitely have to go in behind the jab, never diving in, because what you do, you're helping the guys help you knock yourself out, because you're moving in under his power.
American fans, sensing the possibility of an upset already, have started to chant USA, USA in response to the Brits.
Well, they'll never make as much noise as Hatton's British fans, who have had years to practice their routines. And there's a big left by Ricky Hatton.
Hatton said that he thought that he could extend his career by modifying his style the way Arturo Gatti and Marco Antonio Barrera did at roughly this stage in their careers. But I don't think that he's going to be able to make that change where he could just box against the boxer.
Well, I wouldn't say he can change his style completely, but he can improve on his style. Certain things. Oh, good right hand.
Good right hand.
And that hurt him too.
There's a bloody
Malignaggi's holding
the
on.
left eye of Malignaggi, and Malignaggi was badly hurt by the Hatton right hand.
And he had a hold.
And he catches Hatton with an uppercut coming in. But suddenly they're brawling, and that's Ricky Hatton's fight.
With 20 seconds left in the round.
Blood under the left eye of Paulie Malignaggi.
We got
Malignaggi had his legs back by the end to go.
You punch it from the outside, and he's coming over the top. You got to give me the double jab, Paulie. You're not double jabbing. You're just throwing one jab at a time. Okay? Now stop throwing that uppercut from the outside. That's how he's catching with that right hand. Okay? Now listen, you got to go to the double jab, Paulie. And you're pulling up with the hook. You got to stay down. Just like you did in the first round. Don't get caught up. Okay? You're getting caught up now. Keep your hands tight to your body.
And here we go, and see Hatton catching him with that right hand, which really hurt Malignaggi for a moment. There's another look at it.
Malignaggi had the presence to hold on and to keep his knee off the canvas.
CompuBox numbers in round 2. Hatton 9 out of 51. Malignaggi 8 out of 41. But you saw the big right hand by Hatton, which surely was enough to at least win him the round. You heard Buddy McGirt asking Paulie Malignaggi for the double jab. You'd have to take a risk to throw the jab twice against a jump-in right-hand puncher like Hatton.
It seems that Hatton now has sensed that he has to try to overpower the boxer.
Work out, work out.
Good left inside by Malignaggi.
Work out.
Hatton's dynamism is beginning to show up. He was way more sluggish in round 1 than is now the case. You see the verve and the vibrancy, which has always marked the way he fought Lennox. Nobody fights 3 minutes of every round more consistently than Ricky Hatton.
There's a cut along the nose of Malignaggi. Does not look dangerous.
Work out, work out. Watch your heads, watch your heads.
Well, you can tell that Ricky Hatton loves to mix it up. He loves to box.
Work out.
Now, really, Ricky just wants to get some room, some punching room, so he can land some good punches in there.
I don't get the sense that Kenny Bayless is breaking them up as frequently or as immediately as Joe Cortez did in the fight between Hatton and Floyd Mayweather. Hatton is getting a little more chance here, it seems to me, to wrestle with Malignaggi and set up shots inside, which is what he says he wanted to do and didn't get a chance to do against Pretty Boy Floyd.
And the funny thing is, they said that Ricky Hatton is going to hold a lot in this fight, but I don't see him holding. I see it actually the other way around right now.
You saw Malignaggi reach out and grab him with the left there.
Some good body work by Hatton, which could pay off later in the fight.
See, that's the problem. If you try to hold him, he gets underneath and works, and then chops over the top with the right, as he did there.
Malignaggi needs to keep this fight at distance. He needs to work that jab and work that combination punching and keep Ricky Hatton at bay.
Hatton catches Malignaggi with a left hook. Brings the British fans up and out of their seats. Straight right hand. Again brings the British fans up and out of their seats. And you can see Hatton saying to Kenny Bayless, he's holding me.
Looking good.
Boxing After Dark returns next Saturday night with a 154-pound matchup between Paul Williams and Verno Phillips. Also that night, fast-rising heavyweight Chris Arreola takes on Travis Walker. That's Arreola right there. Then December 16, it's the premiere of HBO Sports' latest documentary film, Breaking the Huddle, the integration of college football.
Rick.
Keep it simple. Okay, you're making it harder than it has to be. Okay, he's coming in, you standing straight up, he's hitting you with double jab. Give me double jab, jab at his chest. Okay, jab at the chest, baby. Let's go, relax, Paulie.
CompuBox numbers through round 3. Hatton landing slightly more, 31 out of 146 to 28 out of 122. Maybe more tellingly, 27 of Hatton's 31 connects are power shots, and a couple of them have been eye-catching, head-popping power shots.
Time in.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 2 rounds to 1. 29-28, Ricky Hatton. Jim, I'll tell you something. Paulie Malignaggi is standing right in front of Ricky Hatton. He's trying to catch him on the way in with double jams. But Ricky Hatton's getting inside, scoring the better shots because he's stronger. The only way that Malignaggi can win this fight is to start to circle and box. He's got to move. If he stands straight in front of Hatton, like he's doing now, Ricky's going to murder him on the inside. 2-1, Hatton.
Circle and box is what Malignaggi did down the stretch of round 1 when he won it. And he has come out trying to circle and box in round 4.
And I agree with Harold. You know, he definitely has to circle and box. But what he's doing, he's putting his head down. He needs to keep his head up and stay tall in this and use his reach as his advantage and not bringing himself down to Ricky Hatton's level.
He's really not that kind of a boxer, Lennox. He's a boxer, but he wants to stand in front of his guy and beat him to the punch.
As often as not, in the last 2 rounds, Hatton has been beating Malignaggi to the punch. That's what's going to make the difference over the long haul if it keeps up.
Well, as the fight goes on and the fighters learn about each other, Hatton is learning that he can't be hurt by Malignaggi. Why not take chances?
Stop, stop. All right, here we go, here we go.
This was Malignaggi's problem against Miguel Cotto. An inability to hurt the stronger Puerto Rican fighter.
Work out of here.
Malignaggi was able to win some rounds against Cotto, but ultimately was ground down by the physical strength disparity and the punching power difference. That's what his fans have to fear here.
Look out, Paulie.
Good uppercut by Malignaggi as he got out of the clinch with Hatton.
See what happens with some guys that keep their left hand down. They keep it down so long until the guy comes in and then they just grab with it. What he needs to do is keep it down until he gets close to him and raise it up to his head to protect him, and then when he gets close, push him off or either punch him with a jab.
It's really fascinating that after all of the talk Malignaggi's people put up about wanting to get the right referee and avoid Hatton's holding, it is Malignaggi who is holding Hatton over and over and over in the early rounds.
Not only that, but Malignaggi said that he thought that in America, because of his holding, that Hatton would just be a club fighter.
Well, what does that make Paulie, who has doubled Hatton's holding? There's the Hatton band. Got their start in Hamburg, then eventually moved to Manchester. No, I'm just kidding.
You mean those aren't the Beatles?
No, they're not.
Rick,
It's not even Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
I want you, man, this right. I want you to pick a lot of jabs, man, and throw your own jab. You're going to touch it. Watch it. Believe me, you're going to touch it. Catch it and still touch it.
And here's Ricky Hatton beating Malignaggi to the punch. Malignaggi somehow not seeing that straight jab to his head.
Malignaggi has had 4 operations on his right hand, including after his last fight. Nothing with his left. His right is as brittle as uncooked spaghetti, but his left seems to work fine.
And a part of the result of it is that sometimes when he throws his right hand, he does not remember to punch it. As Lennox will tell you, you throw a right hand or you throw any punch without punching it, you're not going to make any dent.
No, I mean, a boxer like Ricky Hatton, you gotta throw both punches, both hands, to keep him off of you, because he's just like a train wreck coming at you. And if you don't have anything to stop him, he'll keep on coming.
Well, this was regarded as the big problem if Malignaggi broke his right hand. But it turns out perhaps to be a problem, breakage or no breakage. Now Malignaggi Catches Hatton coming in and pops him with a left jab.
See, it looks like to me that, you know, this is a one-handed fight for Malignaggi, and he does that quite well. He's done that quite well in his past fights, but there's, you know, some guys you really need to tag on the chin and really make them respect your power.
Malignaggi may have managed to surprise Ngoju and to some degree Ndu with his strength in clinches and his ability to move the opponent around the ring. But when he clinches with Ricky Hatton, it just doesn't look like his style, and it doesn't look good for him.
It doesn't, because, you know, we're expecting Malignaggi to be moving around, showing his boxing ability, and it's difficult if you don't have power. You know, because the guy's gonna come, has nothing to be fearful of, and keep coming and putting pressure on you. See, in a situation right there, Malignaggi should be first, but Ricky Hatton's first. Boxers always have to be first, especially if you have a good jab. You got to get that jab working.
Well, Paulie Malignaggi had a good first round, but increasingly it becomes clear. If he's going to win rounds, he'll have to do so with his feet. And all too often, he's finding himself locked up inside with Ricky Hatton in a no-win battle.
Well, they're two crowd-pleasing personalities, but their styles are not exactly crowd-pleasing.
You're fighting in his rhythm. You understand? Stay on the outside and just use your jab, Paulie. Okay? There's no need to be inside. There's no need. Okay, if you're inside, you work. If you're not going to work, you stay on the outside. Nice shot.
Don't give him a chance to breathe. If you need to slide, go ahead. Go ahead. If you need to slide back, get to the punching room. That's what you need. Snatch your hand out and get to the punching room.
Shorten your punches up on the inside. Don't be throwing them too wide. Bring your hands up, faint jab, move your head in the way.
Okay, seconds out, guys. Let's go, champ.
All right.
Just to underline what Larry Merchant said about the styles not exactly conspiring to please fans. Average punches through the 5th round. Hatton 9 out of 50. Malignaggi 8 out of 36. In other words, neither guy has been able to average double figures in landed punches through the fight. That is scratch and sniff all the way. And you heard Buddy McGirt begging Malignaggi, stay outside. Don't get into clinches with Ricky Hatton. Is this better for Malignaggi, Lennox?
Well, it's a lot better for Malignaggi because he's not getting hit and he's using his boxing ability. This is what we expect from him. And, you know, as far as his jab is concerned, he needs to throw it overtime, even double jabs. Right now, he's content to throw one jab at a time. A guy like Ricky Hatton, Malignaggi should be throwing triple jabs. Jab, 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 left hook. Because if he's a left-handed puncher, he's supposed to work double the time, triple the time with that left hand. There he goes. He's waiting for Ricky Hatton to come in when he should really start it. He should be first.
Like that. That's the way for Malignaggi to actually win rounds. Keep Hatton off of him with the jab and step away.
He should be first throwing the punches and last throwing the punches.
This round has gone better for Paulie. There haven't been nearly as many clinches in the round. Not as many situations where he's reached out and grabbed Hatton and pulled him to him. He gets hit with a left hand there.
And Hatton is showing a little bit here of slip. He's not lunging in. He's a little bit under control when he comes forward, moving his head as you just saw there, doing better.
Yeah, I mean, what he's doing is he's allowing Paulie to miss, and he slips to one side and comes back whether with a right hand or a left hook. Also, what he's doing is waiting for Paulie to throw that jab so he can block it and come back with his own jab.
And he's controlling the territory. This isn't a territorial game like football, but you get a sense that he's controlling what part of this ring they're in. Yeah, and he's in charge.
And he's comfortable. He looks comfortable, and he seems like he feels good about the situation in the ring.
But in terms of landed punches, Malignaggi has his best round of the fight. And the color of the fight changes slightly in the 6th. Coming up tomorrow night, another installment of De La Hoya Pacquiao 24/7.
I can train as hard as I want, but I can't do it myself. I need a team.
I love to fight toe-to-toe. I love to throw a lot of punches. This is the biggest moment in my boxing career.
Best known fighter in the sport against the #1 pound for pound, Oscar De La Hoya versus Manny Pacquiao, Saturday, December 6th, live on HBO pay-per-view.
Okay? All right, don't worry about the crowd. Get in your rhythm like you're doing now, okay? All right, there we go now. Now I want the straight right hand, not that uppercut. If you're here, shoot it. Outside, no good. All right? Let's get to the double jab, okay? Give me more face.
Paulie Malignaggi given credit by CompuBox for landing 15 punches in the 6th round. Every single one of them was a jab. Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. 5 rounds to 1, 59-55, Ricky Hatton. Jim, Ricky Hatton couldn't ask for more than a guy who can't punch and is going to stand right in front of him and wrestle with him and let Hatton score the hard shots inside. And that's what we got here. Paulie can only fight if he moves, if he throws the 7-8 punch combinations that made him what he is. You know, Paulie was always a guy who threw a lot of shots. When he gets inside now, all he's doing is one jab, one jab, one jab. Where are the 6 punch combinations? 5-1, Hatton.
Is he missing the 6 punch combinations because he's reticent to release his hands that way, Lennox?
Well, you know, he's going up against a guy that's giving him a lot of pressure. And what he needs to do is, like Harold says, throw those combinations. And like I say, you know, as far as throwing his jab, he needs to throw triple, double jabs, double hooks, everything with his left hand, but they have to be double and triple.
Well, we're seeing 4 and 5 punch combinations, but they're coming from Ricky Hatton. And Hatton has rocked Malignaggi with a couple of big lefts in this round. And there's another one.
See, Malignaggi, when he gets hit, is looking to put his head down. He should be looking to keep his head up and score back.
Frankly, Malignaggi is fighting so defensively at times, it looks as though he's given up on winning the fight and is simply trying to get through it. He doesn't have the kind of body language that suggests that he really knows what he needs to do to win the fight.
Well, you know, he knows that Ricky Hatton is always coming, so he's trying to set him up and making him walk onto a left hand. Whether he can make him walk onto a left-right or have the power to make him walk onto a left-right is a question. But Malignaggi hasn't thrown that right hand a lot or overthrown it today like he's supposed to be.
Malignaggi landed a couple of good counter left-hand shots. There's another one, as suddenly he is timing Hatton's assaults and getting off first.
Hatton looks very eager to fight. Walked into a couple of punches and landed a couple there. And given what he goes through with weight, it's rather impressive that he's fighting 3 minutes of every round after having to take off 40 to 45 pounds between fights.
Right, he doesn't look under-conditioned in this fight.
You know, eventually that's going to catch up with you. Age catches up to you, and it's, you know, when you put on, when the age catches up to you, it's harder to take off that weight.
No. Let him up.
Big left by Hatton walking in. Just busted Malignaggi right across the chops. And that punctuates a round in which Ricky Hatton landed several solid shots.
Can't hit me too many left hooks, you understand me? Okay, listen to me. You're not giving me enough right hand. Every time you throw the right hand, you're hitting them. Okay? Give me the right hands off the jab, baby.
Keep the jab going on his ass.
Your jab work good when you use it, man. You don't use it enough. All right, then. Let me get right.
This side over here, boss.
And here we see Hatton wobbling Malignaggi with a straight left. This is a punch that is seen to be getting through by Hatton frequently.
Very active round 7 for Ricky Hatton. 18 out of 45 landed according to CompuBox. That's the high number of connected punches in the fight for Hatton. 12 of the 18 were power shots. Malignaggi landing 12 out of 37. A couple of counter right hands, mostly left jabs. You heard Buddy McGirt asking Paulie Malignaggi to throw more rights. Floyd Mayweather in Hatton's corner said, your jab works when you use it more.
Good punch.
There's a right hand by Malignaggi. And that's exactly why McGirt was asking for it. Because at this point, Hatton doesn't expect Malignaggi to throw right hands.
No, and you know, these are the type of punches he needs to throw to keep Hatton off. You know, whether his hands can withstand him throwing more of those, but this is what he needs to do.
And he's only going to keep Hatton off momentarily because Ricky's made clear that he doesn't think Paulie can hurt him and is willing to simply walk through his stuff.
Well, what he's walking through is jabs, and most boxers, if you give them the choice between walking through a jab and a right hand, they'll rather walk through a jab. And Ricky knows that there's no right hand coming after that jab, so it makes his job a lot easier.
Another big left hand by Hatton. Moves Malignaggi 3 feet back. There's the right hand landing again for Paulie Malignaggi as he pops Hatton while moving away. Again, Malignaggi reaches out to grab Hatton. Kenny Bayless warns Malignaggi.
Work out, work out.
You know, Malignaggi, you know, although he gets in there, he doesn't do any inside fighting.
That's the point.
And
once they're in a clinch, he doesn't try to throw punches.
No, I mean, that left hand, that he needs to be working overtime. He needs to be either working the right hand inside or something, but he's looking to reach out and hold.
A left and an uppercut from Hatton shook Malignaggi momentarily.
Again.
And as you suggested earlier, Jim, Malignaggi's body language is not that of a winner.
Nope.
This is where I would be telling Ricky Hatton to, you know, after he throws that jab, throw an uppercut, because Malignaggi will duck, and that's where he's going. He's looking to hold and grab.
Stop! No. Don't rest. There we go.
There's that uppercut.
Now, I want you to do this right here. So you got to throw a quick cut punch. So you straight right hand, left hook, right down the middle.
Wow.
See? So right down the middle.
Listen, on the inside, he's pulling your head down, hitting you with the uppercut. Stay from the inside. There's no need for you to be inside. Okay? You feeling okay? Okay, so Paulie, let's go, baby. Let's start getting to the double jab and the straight right hand. Okay? Now, if the right hands don't land, don't worry about the
And here we look at Malignaggi's best punch, which is a right hand, one of the only few right hands he's thrown in this fight. And here's Hatton throwing a straight right, and this is where the uppercut comes in because Malignaggi puts down his head after he throws his punches.
Malignaggi's face is marked, and there's room there for Hatton to maybe create some bleeding if he can get to some of those marks. Hatton's left eye has been swelling since early in the fight. And he rips Malignaggi with a left hook, and Malignaggi sticks out his tongue and clowns for him a little bit, but everyone could see the impact of the punch.
There we go.
I don't think that was a tongue lashing for Hatton.
Time. Neutral.
Don't know what's going on with these gloves.
Taped gloves.
And they're taped it a couple times in the corner. They need to get better tape than that. That is the wrong tape to be using.
He got a chance to tie his shoes after being wobbled by a big Juan Lascano combination in the 10th round in Manchester back in May. That was an eye-opener for some observers at a moment when Hatton seemed to need at least kind consideration, and got it.
All right, that's good. All right.
After that fight, Hatton fired trainer Billy Graham, who had been with him since boyhood, and hired Floyd Mayweather Sr., in effect preventing Mayweather from being able to work with Oscar De La Hoya for De La Hoya's upcoming fight with Manny Pacquiao. Hatton seems to feel as though he can do business in this round.
Well, they've had a long enough rest, and I'm sure Hatton feels that
Work out of there.
There are
that he's winning this fight.
Bruises under both of the eyes of Malignaggi.
Work out, fellas. Come on, here we go.
And it looks as though his spirit has been bruised as well.
Oh, no. Work out. Stop. Watch your head. All that.
See, you know, in a fight like this where you see Malignaggi has such great boxing ability and he's just relying on his jab, it makes me feel that something's wrong with his right hand. He's not throwing as much as he should be, really dependent on his left hand. And, you know, I just feel that he's just one-handed in there, and he's at a disadvantage.
I have a wild hunch it doesn't matter. I mean, even if his right hand were absolutely perfect, he's never had power in it anyway. And it seems to me as though if he's reluctant to throw his right hand, it's partially because of Ricky Hatton's counter left hooks and the accuracy and the quickness with which Hatton has been ripping him. Looking at Malignaggi in this fight, I think you have to credit his managers and his promoters with a good job getting him to the top rung of the 140-pound weight class. For a guy with no power whatsoever to have gotten into this fight against Ricky Hatton, that's pretty good business work.
I agree. Very good management. He's a good little fighter, but when you get to the top of the list, you're going to fight somebody who's stronger than him.
It's inevitable.
You're forcing the clinches. When he's getting close to you, you're reaching out. No need for that, Paulie. If you're gonna go in with a double jab. Don't go in and force the clinch, because as soon as your hands go on the outside, he's coming up the middle.
You lose. Huh? Yeah, when you let, that's what I'm talking about. When you do that, push him off you. Push him off, break with left hook, right hand. Like I told you, man. Hey.
And here you see Ricky hitting Malignaggi with a good punch. Malignaggi accepting it, realizing he got hit with a good punch, sticking out his tongue saying, yeah, you got me, but I'm still here.
Paulie Malignaggi landed 1 out of 7 attempted power punches in the 9th round. Again, In CompuBox counting, a power punch is anything other than a jab. Malignaggi has landed an average of fewer than 3 power punches per round in the fight. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim, 89, 82, 8 rounds to 1, Ricky Hatton. Jim, I got to tell you something. This is not the Paulie Malignaggi I know. And I've seen most of his fights because I'm a New Yorker. Jim, he's not moving. The 5-6 punch combinations ain't there. He's standing right in front of this guy, letting him get inside. And Ricky Hatton is much stronger, landing the stronger, cleaner shots and winning the fight on clean, effective punching. It's not Malignaggi. It's a different guy altogether.
No, it is not.
Should be boxing.
It is Malignaggi, Harold. It's cause and effect. Hatton isn't let him being the Malignaggi that you saw against lesser fighters. He's jumping across the ring. He's very quick getting into Malignaggi, who can't escape him except by getting on a bicycle, and that's not his style.
As Hatton said coming into the fight, I respect Malignaggi, but his big wins are over Lovemore and Doe and Herman Ngoja. I have fought better opposition than that. I think at the end of the day, you have to credit Hatton with being correct on that score. But his wins over Luis Collazo and Jose Luis Castillo and Juan Arango and other fighters like that add up more.
Costa who's maybe the best 140-pounder we've seen.
Hatton beat Tszyu at the end of his career before a huge and tumultuous crowd in Manchester. That's really the fight that made him an international star.
Made him quit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there you have it again. Malignaggi electing to hold and not really box inside. This is part of the fight.
Watch your heads. Watch. Okay, here we go. Watch your heads.
You know, Ricky's sensing this fight's going 100% his ways. He has to be careful. I don't think he has to be careful of any power shots by Malignaggi, but, you know, he wants to end this fight with 2 good rounds and a good performance.
Well, Hatton's a competitor. He'd love to walk away with a knockout. It's not going to be that easy, given that Malignaggi appears to be more interested in finishing the rounds, holding when necessary, and hasn't found an answer to try to give himself a chance to win.
Relax, Rick, relax. Just relax.
Take your time.
I don't know what Mayweather has done for Hatton, but he hasn't hurt him.
Well, you know, I did see some good things in there. You know, like I said, he's slipping to a side and trying to parry some punches.
You get a bit excited with that. Just get your position first.
Yeah. We need you to keep pressure on him. Keep your hand up good. Or move your head.
Every time
your hand up.
That's a problem. You don't have to do your chin every time.
You understand me?
I'm good.
I know, but you're not punching. I'm not going to see you take these shots. Okay?
Sounds to me as though Buddy McGirt is telling Paulie Malignaggi that he might stop the fight unless Malignaggi can do better in these last couple of rounds. Now that has to be an ego deflator for Malignaggi. Maybe Buddy is simply trying to wake the fighter up and say, you're in a desperate situation. I'm going to threaten your ego by telling you that I might stop this fight. You had better throw some punches.
What could be more desperate than a fighter who appears to be way behind and he can't knock his opponent out? It's like being out in the middle of the ocean with nothing in sight but water.
And having been hammered by 2 left hands inside, he grabbed Hatton's leg before Bayless pulled him apart.
You know, I think his trainer's thinking about throwing in the towel.
They're going to throw it in right now. You are exactly right. Absolutely right, Lennox Lewis. Buddy McGirt came up the steps and he pushes Malignaggi away as Malignaggi complains to him.
No, I think he did the right thing because there was no way he's going to win the fight. And what is he going to do? Just accept punishment all the time?
Well, he was getting a beating. He was getting a beating in the body, and Malignaggi is very hurt and humiliated. He wanted to go the distance at least, and you can feel his pain in a way, both physically and emotionally.
Now, in case you missed this, here's what's going on in the ring. And as Kenny Bayless pulls them apart, Buddy McGirt comes up the steps. See him behind Malignaggi over there in the corner? And he has a Nevada State Athletic official with him waving the towel. This makes clear to Kenny Bayless that they want the fight stopped. Hatton throws his arms up. Now watch what happens between McGirt and Malignaggi. As Malignaggi says, how could you do that? He pushes McGirt away, and vice versa.
You know, most boxers want to finish the round. You got one round left. Obviously, you want to go out on your feet. You don't want to fight to be stopped like that. But, you know, a trainer has his duty. And, you know, there was no way that Malignaggi was going to win this fight anyway. He just didn't want to get any unnecessary shots or be humiliated anymore.
He was out of it from round 3 on. Ricky Hatton rolling to a TKO victory. Michael Buffer has the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, referee Kenny Bayless calls a halt to the contest. The official time, 28 seconds, round number 11. The winner by TKO victory, still the IBO Ring Magazine light welterweight champion of the world, the fighting pride of Manchester, England, Ricky Hitman Hatton.
So as the Hatton band plays a victory song, we take a look at CompuBox numbers for the fight. Ricky Hatton landing a total of 124 to 91 for Malignaggi. Hatton throwing 174 more punches than his opponent. Malignaggi actually connected at a higher percentage, but who could tell? His connects were so few and far between, and particularly in the jab category, Hatton wasn't looking to win any jabbing contests with Malignaggi. He was looking to throw and land a few more than has been the case in the past, and that he accomplished. 25 out of 139 may not look like much, but it's better than Hatton did against Floyd Mayweather. And in so doing, he helped to limit Malignaggi's output of power punches. He only was able to throw 133 of them through 11 rounds, and landing at 25. It's an average of about 2.5 power punches per round for Paulie Malignaggi. At the end of the day, against a fighter like Hatton, with the kind of physical effort that Hatton puts forth, that output for Malignaggi is pathetic, and is the reason that the fight was eventually stopped. And Larry stands by with Ricky the Hitman Hatton.
Thank you very much, Jim. Congratulations, Ricky. You call this returning to the scene of the crime where you lost to Floyd Jr. What is your sense of how motivated you were in this fight to prove that you could still fight on the highest level?
Well, I enjoyed it better here this time than I did last time, that's for sure. But as I said, I've just come into a new camp. I've been working on new things. I think me and Floyd together have been together probably about 7-8 weeks, so it doesn't happen overnight. But I think I showed glimpses of the, the stuff that I can do. I think frustration was getting in. I mean, Paulie, even though he fights and he's known for his speed, is a lot tougher than he looks. And I think I hurt him too early in the fight. The first punch I threw, I practically hurt him with, and from there on in, it seemed to be foot on the gas, and slightly at times went back to the old Ricky Hatton, but slowly but surely Floyd will get me completely out of that.
And what do you feel you were doing in this fight that we hadn't seen before in recent fights with Floyd Sr.?
Well, a little bit more patient. I said I would, me and Floyd said I'd be my usual aggressive self, but I was picking shots off a bit better. Left my chin out to dry a couple of times, but I was picking shots off better, using my jab a bit better, moving my head a little bit more. It can still get a damn sight better, I'm under no illusions, because Paulie picked me off with, but I think before the fight, if you said which opponent will probably cause Ricky Hatton the most, which style of opponent will cause Ricky Hatton the most trouble, you'd have probably said Paulie, but I think when the stoppage come, I think Paulie was looking a bit spent. Maybe a lot would see it as a bit premature. I know Paulie did. But
did you? So are you saying you sensed very early on that you were the much stronger fighter, and therefore you could go after him as determinedly as you did?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I haven't seen the tape yet, and I don't know whether it looked like that from the outside. But you could see, I think it was the second round I hurt him, and then I started cocking my punches a bit too much and telegraph him, and that's what you can't do with someone who's as fast as Paulie. Floyd was telling me in the corner, listen, got plenty of time to do it, the sooner you catch someone, that should be the warning sign to slow down, not go faster, really,
So is this fight put you in a position you feel to go forward in the next stage of your career, refreshing, having more confidence that you can compete on the highest level?
I would like to think so. I mean, I think if you stick Paulie in with any of the fighters, with his style, loads of left jabs to contend with, drops his shoulder, spins off the ropes. A lot of my punches were sailing over the top of him. He was going very, very low at times, which was awkward. I mean, I probably maybe had to feint a bit more and fetch the punches up. But I think Paulie, who would fight anyone, he would give them massive problems. He's a good fighter, and he's a lot tougher than he looks, definitely.
Conventional wisdom is that you will get to fight the winner of De La Hoya and Pacquiao. What are your feelings about that?
Yeah, bring it on. I'd definitely like to do it. I mean, as a champion, what we're doing in the game for? I mean, I've had 46 fights now. I've only lost one, and that was to the newly out of retirement Floyd Mayweather, and he was the best pound for pound. I mean, nobody will ever beat me at junior welterweight. Nobody. I really believe that. Nobody will ever beat me at junior welterweight. But what sort of a champion would I be if I just stayed in my normal weight and didn't take the big challenges on? Bring them on. That's what Ricky Hatton's all about.
Thank you. Congratulations
Thank you,
again, Ricky. Paulie, what surprised you most about him, having watched him closely, analyzed him from outside the ring? What surprised you inside the ring?
Nothing crazily surprised me. I expected a couple of different looks from Ricky because of their new training system, and I did. I got a couple of different looks, a couple more feints maybe, stuff like that. But, I don't know. I couldn't get into a rhythm, man. He's got like a awkward head movement, I guess. When my jabs were missing, he was coming underneath my jabs. He uses his short height very well. He kind of maneuvers his way inside. So, he did a good job with that. I just wanted to say, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I would have lost the fight on points had they let it continue. But I'm better than being stopped. They didn't stop the Cotto fight, and I was way worse hurt in the Cotto fight than I was in this fight. I was never really hurt in this fight. He buzzed me, I think, once in the second round. But
well, I think from our point of view outside, you would have had to knock him out to win the fight.
I understand. I understand that.
You don't knock people out.
No, I understand that. It's just like I'm better than being stopped. Ricky fought a great fight. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a terrific fighter.
Is that just a humiliation for you?
It's to knock out on my record, and it shouldn't be, Larry. I was worse hurt in the Cotto fight. I was worse hurt in the Cotto fight. And I know the British fans are booing me, but you guys are great. Regardless, you boo me or cheer me, whatever. You guys always make the festivities more fun. I hope I put up a good enough fight to entertain you guys, and I know you guys are happy that your man won. But I'm better than getting stopped. That's all I'm saying. And give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulie. Jim.
All right, well, you heard Larry talking with Ricky Hatton about what he wants, meaning the winner possibly of Oscar De La Hoya versus Manny Pacquiao. Hatton's quote on this before the fight was, win or lose, Pacquiao's still the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I fought Floyd Mayweather and lost when Mayweather was #1 pound-for-pound. What he really loved would be the opportunity to fight Pacquiao at 140, which is his best weight, which would mean Pacquiao coming back down in weight after he fights De La Hoya. That would be a whirlwind of a fight, right?
I think it'll be a very interesting fight, but obviously they have to agree on what weight they want to come in at, but I'm sure the fans would love to see a fight like that.
There's also a lot of talent at 135, and the prospect exists perhaps that fighters could move up from 135 to 140 and give Hatton some company at that weight level if in fact nothing spectacular happens in the way of a Hatton matchup with the winner of De La Hoya Pacquiao. Larry?
Jim, what I'm thinking about once again is that American fighters used to think so little of British fighters, they would swim across a shark-infested Atlantic Ocean to fight those guys. They were the horizontal Brits. What happened? Here in a few weeks, we've seen Joe Calzaghe whip Roy Jones as badly as he could be whipped. We just saw Hatton defeat Malignaggi. For those who feel that American prize fighting has suffered in recent times, perhaps we can take solace from the fact that British boxing was down in horizontal for many decades. And starting with Lennox Lewis, the heavyweight champ and the best heavyweight of his time, then along came Prince Nassim, who infused more color and action into the featherweight division than we had seen before. And then Calzaghe, and now Hatton. So congratulations to the Brits, and we'll get you the next time, or the next decade.
American fans have had to get used to Manu Ginobili and Yao Ming and Dirk Nowitzki and baseball all-star games that are all Latino.
One other thing, Jim, I don't know, this phenomenon with these fans is nothing like I've ever seen before in boxing. And people don't know how that's expressed in a number. Well, I found out today, talking to some people, that for the fight with Mayweather, there were 1,400,000 pay-per-view buys in Britain, a country 1/5 of our size, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that he made roughly $30 million for that fight. So this phenomenon is expressed in many ways, and we'll still get you the next time.
All right. Well, it's a big victory for Great Britain again. A victory for Ricky the Hitman Hatton, whose record at 45-1 is only one notch short of Calzaghe's 46-0. And yes, a brilliant era of British boxing. It began with a guy named Lennox Lewis. Thanks very much for being with us tonight. Tomorrow night, don't miss the second of 4 episodes of De La Hoya Pacquiao 24/7. Our all-access look at each fighter's final preparations for their mega fight in 2 weeks. Tuesday night at 10 p.m., Real Sports returns with a profile on disgraced Olympic sprinter Tim Montgomery, now serving time for fraud and drug dealing. If you've missed any part of tonight's telecast, you can catch it in its entirety on HBO tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. and on HBO 2 tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 p.m. and early Wednesday morning at 12:50 a.m. Next on HBO. Stay tuned for De La Hoya Pacquiao 24/7, followed by Flight of the Conchords. And now for our entire HBO crew, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from Las Vegas, Nevada.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.